Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go on and do another part of this Let's Play in history. And today we're gonna talk about Mr. Warren G. Harding. I think... I'm gonna do one more mission, and then we'll continue on to the story. It's tough. Don't know if I should do this. What the hell? What could go wrong? Gather computer intel.
Hydra forces in this area are causing trouble. Let's take them down. No sweat.
That's a lot of them. Okay. Move Iron Man over here. Let's just try and knock these guys out real quick. That's not okay. Well, got one, and he leveled up, so that's okay. That works. Damn it. Should have just used Spider-Man. I'm a silly boy.
Like it's up to me.
Okay, okay. Ooh, now I can do my surgical strike. It's only one. Oh, lordy. Okay, let's see how much damage is going to be taken. Well, anyways, let's just start it off and go with it. Warren G. Harding, 29th President of the United States. A very, very interesting fella. I'll put it that way. Born in Ohio. It's a very unique political career, mostly known as being a magazine mogul. Not the best person ever. Of course. And one that dies in office pretty early, pretty quickly, so it's very difficult to assess really how he would have done. A lot of people rate him not very fondly, although strangely enough, historically he's looked at better. I don't get that personally. I don't see how that would really change anything. It's not like new documentation came out. Pretty sure he fathered another kid outside of well, being president. Come on, just fall in. Yeah. Block shield. Oh, Lord. What the heck?
All systems nominal.
Hmm. Definitely need to get some. Oh, crap. Well, he's dead. Crap.
Hey, our friend needs a hand. Not even a dent. Uncle Tony's got your back.
Get it, Spider.
Thanks. This one's for you.
But anyways, for Warren G. Harding, just a fascinating fella. I'll put it that way. It's a lot of health for this guy. Yeah, let's just end him real quick. Born in Ohio. They called him Winnie when he was a kid. He was the oldest of like 10 children, a bunch of kids, and grew up in Ohio. He was born literally at the end of the Civil War in 1865. His father did a lot of stuff. Like his dad was like almost like his dad literally did everything. It's pretty weird. He was a teacher. He was teaching medical school, I think, stuff. He was trying to be a doctor. Very complicated. It's either that or one of his ancestors was like a prominent individual around that particular point in time who worked in the medical field. Lord, everyone's getting hurt. Didn't know we could interrogate him. His family, from his early goings, they were very abolitionist, very Republican. And from a very young age, he was basically like, you're going to go to school, you're going to be a prominent individual. Worked at a small newspaper in Ohio when he was like 14 or 15, called the Argus. Or was it longer? I forgot where. Lived most of his life in Ohio, mind you. Of course you're in a frenzy. You're the only one left. But he went to college, graduated, worked at the Marion Star, where his family had moved. He did everything. No, sorry. He purchased the Marion Star, which is this failing newspaper in the city of Marion that he loved, and 'cause he tried everything. He wanted to study law, just didn't take with him. wanted to do medical school, didn't take with him as well. He was a teacher. He sold insurance. He did everything around that time. And keep in mind, at this point, it's around the late 1870s, 1880s. Bought the newspaper. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, let's just go to bed. Oh, dang, I probably shouldn't. I should have just seen if that was going to be... oh, Captain Marvel got her injury healed. Okay. Skip that. Let's go to... Can I hang out with Captain America? Probably should have seen if I could hang out with Captain America. Let's go, Cap. You and me are going to go fishing, buddy.
Today's a good day. Why is that? Heard back from Gloria's family. She did custodial work at Avengers Tower. They say she'll make a full recovery. She was there when Hydra attacked? Yeah. A ceiling collapsed before her EPS could fully activate. She had some broken bones in her legs. I worry her injuries might be permanent. It's good of you to check in on me. No need to praise me for something anyone can do. Then allow me to appreciate your thoughtful nature. All right. It's unfortunate, but Avengers Tower is a target. Anyone who works there knows the risks. At least I can.
That's why Cap's my favorite. He's a good man.
The kind of person
A good man. Oh, I think you'll like this one.
Can't wait till next time.
17 friendship gained. Hell yeah, bro.
Inviting me to
Apocalypse. Cap's got some humor in him.
You are gonna love this. Got more coil for?
Anyways, what he ends up doing over the next 5 years or so, this young 18-year-old whippersnapper ends up taking a, let's do that, quick kick, ends up taking a failing newspaper, the Marion Star, and makes it like a big newspaper in Ohio that people have to read what's going on. I think part of that too is because he's in Republican politics. I think he has a pretty close relationship with James G. Blaine. Interviews him quite a bit, and I think it's pretty interesting how a lot of that happens. Actually, if anyone gets an opportunity, I would highly recommend people go and read about Warren G. Harding, because he doesn't do a lot during his time and term as president, but he's a very fascinating political figure around that particular point in time, has a lot of influence. Excuse me. And he, ironically, was like the one Republican newspaper at that point in time. What's the difference? Oh, double the attack, hell yeah.
Constant innovation. That's the stark problem.
Yes, please.
Can't wait to see how this goes down.
And keep in mind, from my understanding, Pete, you need to talk, homie?
Hey, can I ask a favor? Thanks, Hunter.
Fundamentals first, bro. Who else needs a talking to? Blade.
I've hunted with a lot of different folks in my day, but there's one question I ask the special cases.
And I suppose I am one of those special cases.
Indeed you are, but a little more what that means later.
By all means, ask your question.
What do you do after we beat Lilith and stop the prophecy of the Midnight Sun?
much to catch up on. For example, this whole America experiment.
It's been quite a century, and we're only 20 years in. Hearing you have a goal after is nice. Special cases are when I get the impression there's nothing beyond
Anyways,
the goal.
the county they lived in Ohio was specifically Democrat, and he was like the one Republican newspaper, which I always find pretty interesting.
It's living. It makes
Um,
it worth fighting.
but a lot of people
Reflect on that.
liked him because, despite him being a Republican newspaper, he was very tempered in responses. He seemed, at the very least, historically, and how he's remembered, to show restraint in show restraint specifically in being fair and balanced in criticisms and tabloids, etc., etc. And people actually like that.
Fanfiction Faustus wrote in a 10,000-year-old dead language.
Ancient Atlantean.
Then sure. Tons.
Also, because of that, a lot of people want to work in Marion. Population doubled in size within like 10 years. And he's just someone who helped promote not big business, but he helped promote small local businesses, put stocks in different types of local enterprises. He ends up becoming a mogul, bro.
They think it's a shipping
Um,
or smuggling. Faustus
I think
has been in
numbers put it today, like by the time he's like 30, he makes like, he's worth about 16 something million dollars.
via the
And he was just a big person in Ohio, at the very least, that a lot of people were keeping kind of an eye on, and seeing a lot of people and a lot of the more recent presidents around that particular point in time coming from Ohio. It's like, interesting. You know, they're keeping an eye on him, seeing that how much he has a lot of influence with his paper, and how much
sort of a point
care that he has with how he treats his businesses, people, etc., etc. I think part of that was a bit of a show front. He was certainly someone who I would say is more so along the lines of little out there, little energetic, you know. Might father a couple kids or two, you know. But yeah, you know. It also doesn't help that he has like this rumor of black heritage, like his great grandmother was black, and a lot of people were not into that, unfortunately. A lot of prejudices, and he was kind of ousted at a certain point. A lot of people looked down on him.
Just once, I would like a mission on a tropical beach.
Checking out a big dark hole in the ground does not excite you.
Anyways, he meets this lady, Florence, around this time, who really didn't care. I actually think she was married and ended up getting a divorce to go and marry Harding in the 1890s.
Faustus's twisted ramblings wasn't the easiest job in the world.
I don't think they had any kids, actually, now that I think about it. And I think part of that was just because they were focused on Harding and his career, primarily, and him even entering politics around that particular point in time. He's in his mid-30s. He's already he's a mogul, you know what I'm saying? I think in one of his biographies that I read, I mean, she's like everywhere for him. She's helping make a lot of decisions. She's putting forth a lot of positivity, a lot of energy. She is as involved as a future First Lady ultimately will be.
We invented stealth.
Now, at this time, understand too, he's a human being, and despite being this big entrepreneur who's doing all this stuff, he has to go to the hospital numerous times for fatigue, nervous illnesses. He was always a worried individual. I think that has to do with, of how, all the rumors being in the media. I think it has something to do with that too.
Hydra forces in this area are causing trouble. Let's
But ultimately, in reality and in retrospect, he actually had heart problems that did not assist him in any way, shape, and form. Actually made things a lot more difficult for him in life.
One Hydra and put an end to the
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
smuggling operation for good.
No problem.
There we go. Let's do that. Punch him, Cap. Hell yeah. For America. It's not what I wanted, but okay. Shoot. Might as well. Yeah, Cap, give him that American stare. Now, when I mean that she's involved, she actually takes over the business at a certain point while while Warren is going out doing campaign speeches, trying to become a politician, and does all these interviews at the same time. I think he interviews William Jennings Bryan at one point. Ends up trying to basically vie for a Republican State House ship, and it's a trial for let's just do that. How many turns do I have left?
Would have to ask Crossbones. Let us see if they have an answer for this.
You know what, Cap? Let's get you into the thick of it right here. Can I punch him into that guy? Damn it. Alright, but I'll take 2 out. Take what I can get.
Some for the rest of us.
Which is not good, because I'm pretty sure that truck's going to be leaving soon.
Lost one of the artifacts.
Oh, God. Dang it. Okay, we're redoing this. Wow, they really don't give you a lot of time. My goodness. Maybe I shouldn't have chosen Cap for this one, unfortunately. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I gotta take this guy out. Recover the supplies.
I don't think they even realize the trouble
Cap's doing everything. It's my boy.
Hydra Immortalis! I've been waiting for this. Hey, that actually hurt.
Now, that being said, he finally does get elected into office around the turn of the century, around 1900. A lot of people were worried about him, which I think I should have probably noted too, as a potential reason why it took him so long to get into political office. Really is just the reality that he was an unknown for a lot of people. What can I do? What can I do?
Thermal scan. This hole branches from here across the entire city. What the hell was Faustus doing down here?
Would have to ask Crossbones.
We'll do that. Still have one more remaining. Bam, 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 bam. Cap, you salty dog. But he does get the state senatorship in Ohio. And I think people were very, very wary of him because they just didn't know where his allegiances were. They didn't know what he was all about. They didn't know what he was going to be doing. Ironically, after about 4 years in his first term, he ends up becoming a powerhouse, voting for all the right things, being a very prominent individual.
Getting a little woozy here.
Da, 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 da. You know what? I'm gonna heal Cap. Quick strike you.
Leave some for the rest of us.
Let's take you out. Gonna punch you into this. Yes, I can. He gone. Not what I wanted, but okay. Ironically, after William McKinley gets assassinated, it's not like he's... Is Blade down? No, he's over there.
The greatest lie the devil ever told was convincing the world he didn't exist.
He actually loses a lot of perspective, doesn't want to become the politician anymore, although he's now pretty much by like 1904, he's like the Ohio leader. You know, he's like J.D. Vance almost, you know? Two card plays left.
Just the boost I needed.
Here it comes. It sounds to me like they just missed their mark.
And there's a lot of, let's say, political machinations going on around this particular point in time, which leads to Republican instability that coincides with, you know, what's happening on the federal level. But same exact things are happening in various different state constituencies where there's just a lot of issues going on. A lot of people don't really like Republicans, although he's the guy. They're all fighting with one another. Allegiances are with... And Harding is making the right allegiances, but he's also trying to stay as away from a lot of what's actually going on in terms of the politics for the most part. He liked Roosevelt. He didn't trust Roosevelt, which I think is a very big distinction that needs to be understood. Should end this guy real quick. That's why he throws the support around Taft and the non-aggressive progressive wing that would become the Bull Moose Party and all that. He's pretty strong at that point.
Have to keep fighting.
And again, he's just popular. That's just what it is. Sometimes being in the middle helps people. And for Warren G. Harding, he found that to be something that would really greatly benefit him for most of his time in political office. And because of that, because of all the political machinations going on, he tries to run for the governor. Ultimately, they don't want him to run for governor. They want him to run for senator. I actually believe so. I mean, actually, I would even argue, in fact, Harding's probably a big reason why Taft ends up getting the renomination. He throws a lot of his support behind him, so a lot of Ohio goes behind Taft against Teddy. So a lot of people eventually do blame him for a lot of the stuff that happens with Woodrow Wilson's presidency. What is going on in this game? Good Lord.
Remind you of something?
The sanctum. Back door.
But he runs for senator in 1914, wins it,
Gonna say yes.
and say what you will about him, he was always someone that was going to do what his people wanted, his constituents wanted. So a lot of people were like, you should be for women's suffrage and all that, and he's like, I'll be for women's suffrage once Ohio's for women's suffrage, you know. He's that kind of politician. But he wins his election in just an absolute landslide victory. A lot of people saw that as a positive, and I personally would see that as a positive. At the very least, he's trying to be
Getting the artifacts out of
damage
the
enemy
sector.
restore 86 health.
That I hate this guy. Let's see if we can't shut him up.
Come closer, little vampire. Feed our eternal hunger with your eternal blood. We shall feast
I'm gonna try and use some strategery here. That's not the strategery that I was thinking of, but okay. Just enough.
They cannot possibly match yours.
And let's just say he and Wilson did not get along too well.
one chance.
Even though he specifically voted in favor of a lot of the Ward legislation, notably the Espionage Act, voted for a bunch of the taxes. I do find it very interesting, I'll just put it that way, that, you know, politics is such a very strange game, put it that way.
Wasn't expecting
That door of his may be our best bet in getting through to the sanctum and finally taking the fight to Lilith.
Let's free Blade first. I'm going to take the risk here.
Surface meat. So much better than sewer meat. Sweet, sweet surface meat. Yeah, I'm sure he'll let us through if we just ask nicely.
Sure. Oh god, Cap, don't die on me, you beautiful bastard.
You're lucky I'm one of the nicest.
Here, yeah, I'm just going to restore your health.
That's one hell of a move.
I'm going to start attacking Venom.
You don't have to show off for me, Blade.
Strategery.
They're not going to like this.
Now, largely, he votes alongside party lines, etc., etc. Should probably move. So you. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Move over here.
Too much gamma for our liking.
Yeah.
Well, that put me off my lunch.
God, that is just so ridiculous.
The advantage is mine. Get some.
And a level up. Sweet.
Even the best can get
Monoforms are for the weak.
Haha. Suck it, Venom. Boo.
Smells like spoiled milk.
Take that. In your face.
There is no end to Hydra's reinforcements, even down here in the sewers. Deal with that.
Take
There is
that.
Venom is
Now he's downed. Bang. Now I'll just get to briefly how he becomes president before I move on to the next part. I think I'm gonna end this part after this mission is completed. See if we can do it. Shield bounce. Perfect. Oh, Cap, you beautiful, beautiful American. And you're targeting me. Wrong move, buddy.
still lively enough to say it. Can we take him down already?
your time has come.
If I have one more move.
Makes us hungrier.
I will be keeping my organ meat, thank you very much.
Overkill. Worth it.
Size does not always equal strength.
Suck it, Venom. So basically,
Excellent.
Teddy was ironically going to be the guy to run in 1920. Long story short. He dies, unfortunately, and because of age and, unfortunately, disease from traveling across, various different parts of the world. And in a lot of ways, Harding was a bit of a compromise candidate. He was like, this guy's got nothing on him, there's no one that's really going to contest it. And a lot of people saw that, especially during the conventions and the primaries, it was really all over the place, but pretty much with Warren G. Harding was just like, oh, you're kind of the guy. And that was after a bunch of, put it this way, a lot of political infighting. Harding literally wasn't the first choice, but ultimately ends up recovering and eventually just gets the nomination for the most part. and pretty much just people fighting over one another. It was like, who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Calvin Coolidge? Is it gonna be Herbert Hoover? Hughes? Who's it gonna be? You know? And a lot of people saw him as a bit of a dark horse. And after like 5 or 6 ballots, I think Harding ended up being like 4th.
Though I'll admit, when Agatha and I first made it for you, we didn't anticipate the need to withstand.
And let's just be honest, I think some people had some
Thankfully, the
political shenanigans that went on.
ran off
Because a bunch of these people started dropping out left and right.
was able to get
Some people call it the smoke-filled room, where behind the scenes, party leaders were like, okay, let's not do this, yada yada. The chairman of the National Committee, Republican National Committee, was just like, yeah, let's just go with Harding. You know, and I think a lot of that had to do with just, he was
at least until
a relatively well-known enough candidate at this point, and
and mystic energy.
really seemed pretty basic for a lot of... I put it this way. There's really nothing specific that says Harding was supposed to be the candidate. He didn't have the momentum. Quite the opposite. He did not have the momentum whatsoever, but I think a lot of people saw this as a newspaper mogul eventually getting the nomination for the presidency of the United States as something that was pretty big and something that was going to ultimately help them more in the long run than not in the long run. There's other political machinations that obviously go into it. The other candidates not being as strong. I mean, Calvin Coolidge was in the running for it, and you know, they call him Silent Cal for a reason. And Herbert Hoover didn't have enough, I think, political strength in order to actually justify it. But you know, that's just me.
The mirror table, our pulse on everything Hydra, really brings an Avengers Tower vibe to this place. It has been useful.
And to put a long story short, I guess you could say that he had a lot of pull within the United States Senate, Warren G. Harding, and ultimately I think they were the guys who all had the backroom meeting and were like, look, this is our guy, get behind him or get lost, basically.
Hasn't gone unnoticed.
And after like another 4 or 5 ballots, you know, Warren G. Harding's rise gets more votes. It's like 130th, the next one,
Not generous when it's
160, obviously. And I think he needed at that point around 400 to get it. But he ends up getting the majority. And a couple of the other people, once they see the writing on the wall after like 15 different ballots, are like, okay, I give up. It's not happening for me this time, and it is what it is. Yes, Captain America, it's my boy. But Warren G. Harding gets the nomination for the presidency of the United States of America for the Republican Party, guys. Like and subscribe. You all rock. We'll continue this soon, okay? Later, y'all. You all rock.